Okay. Hi, my name is Taylor Newton, and I am applying to the Seattle University Masters in Teaching for Elementary Education. And these are my friends Caitlin and Jenny, who have agreed to help me with the interview today. So I think it's best if we all start out with discussing our initial views on honors classes. So after reading the article, I do approve of honors classes, but only if they're available to all people. When I was growing up, our honors classes, you had to test in when you were in 6th grade, and if you didn't test in 6th grade, you had no chance of getting in later in high school, which I don't think is fair. What are your views on honors classes?
I definitely approve of the fact that honors classes are available, but in my high school, from what I remember, you could just test in every year. So I think math was the one exception because math kept building on your previous material. But you could test in, if you wanted to do English, honors English the next year, that was completely fine as long as you either had a high enough grade from the previous year or you did some sort of test. So it was really available to all students, and I really appreciated the option to have honors classes.
Yeah, I kind of had a mix of your guys's too. We had some tracking, now that I remember it. We had tracking for math, and but then we did have honors classes available for history, English, and then like APs and stuff, and science in high school, which was nice because we could like pick. And so I remember one year I took like honors history, hated it, didn't take honors the rest of high school. So my opinion is kind of, I don't think putting students on a track is really fair because people change and their learning changes throughout. You know, as you get older, you make it better at one subject. So I think tracking isn't fair, but definitely having honors classes available benefits students who are more interested in a certain subject.
Yeah.
What do you think about, in the article, they suggest that in 9th and 10th grade, instead of offering a full honors class, that everyone is in a mixed classroom and you can do extra work if you want honors. Do you think this is a good system? Do you think...
I think, the extra work option is a good one because that means that students who are really motivated and who do want to do that honors actually have to put in the extra work. And so it makes it sort of an even playing field.
Yeah.
But do you think the same should go for 11th and 12th grade, or they should separate the classes by that time?
I think that students who want to do AP classes in 11th and 12th grade should have the option to join an AP class because it does help with college admissions, and those classes are basically taught to the test. So that students are capable of passing these tests for college credit to get into schools. So I think that maybe in 11th and 12th grade, students can choose to join the classes rather than testing into them. And I think in 9th and 10th grade, it's good to have everyone together, because when you go into high school, it's 2 or 3 different schools coming together, and that way students really have the opportunity to get to know every person instead of these elite group of people who are the smart kids.
And maybe one middle school didn't offer as many classes or as many opportunities, so the student gets to high school and finds out new interests in honors classes.
Yeah.
My only playing devil's advocate for this would be students, when you're in high school, would they want to do the extra work? If you're not pushed to do something, would you want to? And especially kind of the motivation for some people taking honors classes, I know kind of for me, was to prepare myself for an AP class and to have that on my transcript to look good for college. And so if you're in 9th and 10th grade, you're doing all this extra work to get into an honors class, but then that doesn't show for when you're applying to college. I can just see students getting they're already in high school, they're angsty and getting jaded about it.
Yeah.
It's I have to do all this extra work and I'm not getting
No,
it.
but it comes up as the honors class. It's just in the same class,
and
you do extra work.
You do extra work.
I think that's a good idea.
That was in my high school, yeah.
So you do extra work, but you're on the same class?
But you're getting the credit.
And I think it would motivate students who normally wouldn't opt to do the extra work to see their friends in this class doing the extra work, and they're like, you know what, I think I can do it too.
Yeah.
And I think in 9th grade it's an important time because it's when your college admissions grades start, and they really have an extra chance to turn their education around if they see other people doing the extra work and they're like, I can do it too. And for the kids who are always going to be able to do it, when they teach somebody else something, they learn better themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that would be a positive.
So how do you feel now that you're a teacher now? Do you see like what the benefit would be for some of your students who are excelling more but are stuck behind because maybe basically the English level isn't very high here, so the kids who do have an opportunity or have been going to private academies for lessons and who really want to excel, do you feel like honors classes would in that case be beneficial here?
Yeah, I think it would be beneficial, especially because here in Spain, one of the biggest problems is the attitude and how the students act in class. They're constantly talking. It's nearly impossible to get the class just to stay quiet. And I can see the frustration on my students' faces who want to learn English and who have told me they love English, they enjoy coming to my class, but I have to stop every 30 seconds because the students are talking so much. And I think for them, if they could do the extra work on their own time and still learn and not have other students being detrimental to their education environment, it would be good. I mean, you guys have problems with, your students, getting them to stay quiet.
Yeah.
But you do have the issue then, like, if it's this whole you're in the same class and then you do extra work, there's the argument, like, why do I have to do double the work? Why can't we have a class of, I mean, I'm also playing devil's advocate, but why can't we have the class of all achievers and we don't have to wait half the class for the teacher to be yelling at us? We can literally use all these minutes to be learning English instead of half of them to be being told to be quiet.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, as like, I mean, we probably all did honors and APs in high school, and like, for a student who, like, I wanted to do the learning and wanted to excel, and I was always so sick of the kids who would like slow down the process. So I would appreciate the just full class with all. And sorry, and I can see that like it would be just like frustrating because for like the teacher, they're having to then cater to like two groups of people, and like maybe it's holding them both back a little bit because they're like, okay, let me take the time and do the non-honors kids and teach them this, but the honors kids are ahead of it. And like kind of even at my school in Spain right now, the way that like the classes work is they send the kids who are better at English to me and I work with them, like they split it in half. And that kind of works though because it motivates the kids because a lot of them want to come to my class and so they try to get better at English. But like, for example, when the actual teacher and I have been in the classroom together, it's just counterproductive to have everybody in there sometimes, and there's the kids who are completely fluent in English, like in the back of the class, like, seriously,
so
are we learning continuous verbs again? Like, is this happening? And then there's the kids who are like, ¿qué significa? Like, what does this mean? And so it's like, so
exactly.
it's like, I don't know, it's hard.
And that's, they talk about that in the article. There's the boy in high school who was an advocate for honors classes and said his 9th grade year, he was in a math class with such varying abilities that he had a really hard time learning. He felt pressured from the older students to do their homework, that everyone just cheated to get by. And I think it's frustrating, yes, for the kids who, have a lot of outside help, at home. They've always had a good environment, and I think that's part of the social justice part of keeping everybody together because, yes, it's not fair that these students are going to have to do extra work on top on an honors class if that was an option, but for the students who really don't get any extra help at home and who don't have access to things like books and private classes, it's more fair to them. So it's kind of a balancing act of, are we going to keep widening the gap between the higher socioeconomic status people who have access to these things and those who don't. And I think it's only fair for at least 2 years to keep everybody together to give the kids who haven't had as many opportunities to climb the ladder of success.
I think definitely for 9th and 10th grade there shouldn't be too many separations. I don't see a huge problem in maybe having one honors class, like honors bio. I don't know what we had, but we did not have a ton of honors classes in 9th and 10th. And we did have all the APs in 11th and 12th, but in the beginning grades, it was really just, maybe there was one or two that you could do.
Yeah.
And you don't really notice, like, I was a good student, and I don't think I did any honors classes 9th or 10th grade. But that doesn't, so no one's looking at you like, oh, you're not signed up for honors math and English, at least in my school. So I think that's a good solution, though. You're right about the socioeconomic.
That does make sense. What's your opinion of students then, like, say that this is happening at a school where they've got 9th and 10th graders together. What if one student is just, like, so good at math? Like, what's your opinion on him, like, skipping grades and being with older kids then, or something like that in, like, 11th or 12th grade?
Yeah. I think that should be an option where if somebody just excels so far into one subject that they maybe just that one student they don't go into an honors class, but maybe they test into a higher grade. Yeah. And I don't think it would be fair to have 9th graders with 12th graders because the 12th graders just kind of have authority over the school. Bullying would probably happen a lot more with the younger students. But if somebody is just so gifted, I think they should be given the option to maybe do a summer course, catch up on the extra work, and then skip that grade in maybe math or history or science or what it is. And also an option is to weight the GPA for honors. You know, so was your GPA weighted for honors or AP?
Yeah.
AP it was.
Like you got like a 4.2 GPA instead of a 4.0?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was going to say about